Hey guys, another year has come to an end, and in this year I was able to review an astounding 12 games. Now out of those 12, 2 of them were downright awful, so for those of you who've been watching my reviews for at least the past year, I'm pretty sure you'll know which games will be in the top 10. But let's see which order they're in. It's time for FreQuenczy's top 10 best reviewed games of 2012. For anyone not familiar with my top 10s, there are 2 rules I came up with. Rule number 1 is no 2 games of the same franchise and style can be in the list, and rule number 2 is the overall fun factor of a game I received is the basis for this countdown, not scores and titles. If you'd like an example of these rules, please watch my 2009 Top 10 Best video. Okay, let's get started. Number 10! Mario Superstar Baseball. While this can be a fun game, it was actually one of the biggest disappointments of any game I've ever played. The base running AI is such a joke. Their programming really needed to be improved for the rules of baseball. I kept getting out because of the fault of the AI. This game is much more fun when playing with friends as you don't have to deal with the AI so much. I also like the variations in the different fields and the stars you earn to either throw crazy pitches or hit the ball with power. The strategy in picking up new players in single player mode was cool too. Overall, there's definitely room for improvement in this game, but it can still be fun if you stick with it, and even more fun when playing with friends. Number 9! Meet the Robinsons. I was actually surprised by the amount of fun I received when I played this. I guess I was just thinking it would be a subpar movie game, but it was actually pretty good. There's a nice variety and difficulty for the puzzles, and the gadgets you build are fun to use. Now, if you've seen my review of this game, you'll know my biggest complaint with it was the camera. Oh man, was it a pain. It was a pain because you constantly had to move it manually. This did not help when you're being attacked by multiple enemies at once. If the camera was programmed in a better way, this game probably would have received a higher score. It's still a fun game though and can be pretty addicting, and it's worth it to play it to the end. Number 8! Blob 2. This game was very similar to the first Blob, but with added goodies such as items to help you out, 2-player co-op mode which worked much like Super Mario Galaxy 2's co-op mode, and 2D side-scrolling areas to add to the variety of gameplay. My favorite new addition was the upgrade system. You could spend a certain amount of gathered points to increase Blob's attributes as well as his robot friend's maximum paint point holder. The main issue I had with the game was that the levels were very lengthy, but I don't feel like there was enough variety in each one, so the game became boring over time. It's still a fun game though, with much to paint and collect, and with co-op mode, a friend can join in on the fun. Number 7! Trauma Center Second Opinion. This is definitely a game for patient yet skilled players. It is not for everyone because it can get very difficult. It can still be fun though. You'll play as surgeons in each mission trying to help heal patients by extracting tumors, realigning broken bones, and other surgical procedures. The controls are very accurate and the music really helps with the intense atmosphere. However, the biggest problem with the game for me was that it just didn't keep my interest for very long. I found this to be odd since I really like Trauma Team. I think it was just the lack of variety in missions, as well as the high difficulty of the game. It can still be fun to the right people, and I recommend it if you'd like to play something unique. Number 6! Beautiful Joe 2. If you like the original Beautiful Joe, then there's a high chance you'll like this game too. The gameplay is very similar to the first Beautiful Joe, and that's a good thing. This game lets you play as Sylvia, Joe's girlfriend. She has different movesets, which adds variety to the gameplay. This is nice, however I found myself playing as Joe a lot more than Sylvia. The biggest complaint I have with the game is the programming of when either character is in the air while in slow mode and they're attacking. I don't know why, but they seem to attack way slower than in the original Beautiful Joe. This just decreased the fun factor. But hey, it's still a really fun game that you should definitely try out if you like the original game. Number 5! Mini Ninjas. This was an enjoyable and addicting game, even if it was too easy. I set it on the highest difficulty, and it was still too easy. I think being able to mow down your enemies by spamming one button, and the QuickTime events in the boss battles made the game too easy. Still, it's fun to be a ninja and use your stealth and abilities to get through each level. Using each ninja's special techniques is fun too, even though I didn't really come across any time when I needed to use specific characters. It's still an overall fun game, and I think younger audiences would enjoy it even more. Number 4! The Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King. Even though this game is short, it's still a very fun and addicting real-time RPG. You get to play as main characters of the Fellowship and fight your way through epic scenes from the movie. Some of the levels you fight in are not in the movie. They might be in the book, but I don't know, and it doesn't really affect the game in a negative way. I like the different moves each character learns as you level up. The difficulty can get pretty high in certain levels, which I liked. This is a great game for those who enjoy real-time RPGs, especially if you like The Lord of the Rings. Number 3! Resident Evil Archives Resident Evil. This was a great game. The whole atmosphere is very creepy, and the game will take you quite a while to complete. I didn't like the inventory system, the boss fights were surprisingly easy, and all 3 control schemes weren't the best in my opinion. However, the game is very fun and addicting. It has a great story, the music is chilling, and taking down zombies, figuring out puzzles, and just trying to survive makes for a very fun and scary game. Number 2! Donkey Kong Country Returns. I was so excited for this game when I first saw it during E3, and it didn't disappoint. The gameplay is very similar to the Donkey Kong Country games back on the SNES. The graphics look fantastic, and the elements in each level really add to the fun you get from playing this game. Co-op mode is fun too. One of the things I didn't like was the level of difficulty this game has. Even with the heart system allowing you to be hit twice before you died, I'm pretty sure you will still have a difficult time because of how difficult the game can get. But it's still a fantastic game, one that you really need to play if you haven't. You might even go bananas over it. So we've arrived at number 1, but before we go on, let's recap. Number 10, Mario Superstar Baseball. Number 9, Meet the Robinsons. Number 8, Blob 2. Number 7, Trauma Center Second Opinion. Number 6, Beautiful Joe 2. Number 5, Mini Ninjas. Number 4, The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. Number 3, Resident Evil Archives Resident Evil. Number 2, Donkey Kong Country Returns. And now it's time for number 1, The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. Yeah, you saw this one coming, but that's okay. This game is awesome. When I first saw the trailer during E3, I wasn't sure what to make of the graphics. They look great, but I was surprised they made it look like this coming after Twilight Princess. But graphics don't make a game. The game starts out in the sky, and you'll mainly play on the ground beneath Link's Skyworld. The controls are set so that you have to swing your sword with the Wiimote and hold up your shield with the nunchuck. In my opinion, the sword controls are spot on. I love solving the puzzles in each dungeon, and the game is just so addicting. The main thing I didn't like was that it felt like the game was too linear and there was not enough exploration on the ground. However, the beautiful graphics, super sharp controls, overall Zelda charm, lots of fun side quests, a great sounding music score, an engaging story, and challenging boss fights make this a fantastic game, and that's why it's number 1 on the list. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Once again, I would like to say thank you to my family and all of my subscribers. Thank you to all. I've had a fun year of reviewing Wii and GameCube games, and I hope we all have a happy new year. See you in 2013!